What if everything H.P. Lovecraft ever imagined wasn't imagination at all? What if the nightmares he wrote about were warnings, visions clawing their way into our world on the very last day of his life? Welcome back to our channel. I'm your host, Captain Comics. Today, we're diving into the haunting first issue of The Last Day of H.P. Lovecraft, a comic that rips open the boundary between cosmic fiction and terrifying reality. This story reimagines Lovecraft's final hours as a frantic descent into madness, monsters, and the truth he spent a lifetime trying to outrun. Get ready, because this issue doesn't just honor the mythos, it detonates it. Let's unravel what really happened in those final cursed moments. The comic opens with an image that sets the tone for everything that follows. Humanity, slipping into dreams as the world approaches its end. Not a fiery apocalypse, not a cosmic war, just a quiet retreat into sleep, a surrender. It's peaceful, melancholy, and unnervingly comforting. From there, we follow Randolph Carter, not as the protagonist of Lovecraft stories, but as a kind of spiritual guide, drifting through landscapes that look like they were pulled straight from the deepest corners of Lovecraft's imagination. Carter's journey becomes a symbolic search for a dying man, a search for Lovecraft himself. But issue number 1 makes it immediately clear. This is not a normal quest. This is a metaphysical descent. The first dreamscape Carter walks through is beautiful in that eerie, poetic way that only Lovecraftian horror can pull off. Purple dusk drapes itself over enchanted forests. Winds carry the scent of forgotten world. Stars swirl above in impossible constellation. And beneath everything, a river flows toward a horizon that has no sun. It's not heaven. It's not hell. It's a threshold. But as Carter travels deeper into the dream, that beauty starts to deform. Ancient ruins crumble under heavy shadow. Groves twist like wounded animals. Stone faces stare blankly from lost temples, their eyes cracked and hollow. The dream shifts from mystical to menacing, from a sanctuary to a graveyard of forgotten civilizations. Every corner feels like a memory, not Carter's memory, but the memory of humanity itself, its fears, its failures, its myths. Eventually, Carter reaches a colossal gate, crowned by a single, watchful eye. This is the moment where issue number 1 shifts from dreamy to truly cosmic. The gate is rumored to lead to a realm of pure dream, paradise for some, damnation for others, but no one returns from it, ever. And the dreamers, desperate to escape their own fading world, search for its latch, like pilgrims searching for salvation. But issue number 1 throws its first major curveball here. The dreamer doesn't find the door. The dreamer realizes he is the door. He is the key. He is the gatekeeper. It's a moment that pulls the rug out from under the reader. Identity collapses. Boundaries between self and dream dissolve. Reality warps. And then, without warning, the comic snaps back into the waking world, into the hospital where H.P. Lovecraft lies dying. The contrast is brutal. No more purple horizons, no more cosmic rivers, just cold walls, clinical lighting, and medical charts filled with devastating details. Digestive agony, terminal cancer, starvation, and 7 quarts of malignant fluid drained from his abdomen. This is how the comic grounds itself. The cosmic and the physical exist side by side. One does not cancel out the other. A nurse hesitates with a syringe of morphine, fearing a double dose might kill him. The doctor responds with chilling bluntness. He's already dead. Not metaphorically, not spiritually. His body has already passed the point of return. Lovecraft's elderly aunt is informed, but the comic makes a point of emphasizing the presence of a young man who waited all night to see him. Someone who cared. Someone who wanted to speak to Lovecraft while he still could. The doctors give him 5 minutes. He didn't have many friends, they say, and that sentence hits like a hammer to the chest. The world that celebrated him posthumously wasn't there when he needed it. In another room, one doctor dismisses Robert E. Howard's work, calling the stories of the creator of Conan rubbish. A nurse, unfamiliar with Howard, takes the book to be burned. Issue number 1 uses this moment to underline a harsh truth. Visionaries, are rarely appreciated in their time. Their stories are disposable. Their worlds are optional. Their legacies are fragile until someone decides otherwise. Issue number 1 then pivots to a gloomy, existential mood. A man finds a newspaper screaming, "Doomsday." A quote from Lovecraft, "Peace is the ideal of a dying nation," sits beneath it. Humanity is positioned as a fading speck in the universe, unimportant, temporary, irrelevant. A theme that bleeds through everything Lovecraft ever wrote. Nurse calls for Randolph Carter. When she finally meets the man she's looking for, he tells her, "You've made the trip for nothing." It's a moment of pure existential brutality. In Lovecraft's world, even truth seekers meet only indifference. Carter arrives at the hospital. A nurse tells him Lovecraft is slipping between consciousness and morphine-induced dreams. He won't last much longer. Time is running out. This is where issue number 1 sets the emotional stakes for the rest of the series. Then comes one of the most important scenes. A nurse knocks on door 217. The narration claims nobody knows what Lovecraft's final day was like. Then a voice responds, "Nobody except me, because I was there." This is where the comic introduces its central mystery, the identity of the observer, the visitor, the witness. The mysterious man enters room 232. He carries a suitcase. His expression is grim. A folded note peeks from his pocket. A maid watches silently, aware that something extraordinary or terrifying is about to unfold. The room is filled with strange tension, as if the air itself knows this is the start of something bigger. Inside the room, the man faces Lovecraft. The bed, the pale face, the medical instruments, the abandoned suit, the lighthouse painting. They all paint the picture of a man already halfway out of the world. Everything feels like a last memory being carefully arranged. Then the stranger begins to operate a bizarre machine connected to Lovecraft. He talks about the fundamentals of weird fiction, doomed destinies, blurred boundaries between dream and waking, self-replication, undead liminality. But his tone makes it sound like he's not describing fiction, but diagnosing reality. And then comes one of the most chilling moments of issue number 1, the face reveal. The man removes a mask, an unnatural fleshy mask, and shows that he is not who he appears to be. He claims that one man's dreams have shaped a half-mad world, and when that dreamer dies, the world may unravel with him. Inside his suitcase lies strange books with cryptic titles like Life and Death and Outside and Other. He quotes, "Death, its desolation and horror, but life, the greater horror." Then he asks if he quoted Lovecraft right, turning the moment into a twisted tribute. Issue number 1 reveals that the stranger carries a notebook full of Lovecraft's unwritten ideas. Stories that were never finished, maybe never even fully imagined. He wonders if Lovecraft still has one last story in him, one that could outshine all the others. Through flashbacks and fragmented documents, the comic revisits Lovecraft's painful history, poverty, illness, mental instability in his family, personal loss and isolation. The final beat, etc., 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 suggests that the suffering never ends, even when the life does. Then the stranger attacks Lovecraft where it hurts, his obsession with racial purity and genealogy. He reveals the truth. Lovecraft's lineage is filled with instability, madness, scandal, and degeneration. Exactly the kind of twisted, tragic family history Lovecraft himself might have written for one of his doomed protagonists. "What's it like to die?" the stranger asks. Lovecraft answers, "I'm cold, so cold." The stranger insists they met in an astronomy society. Lovecraft is confused. His memory is unraveling. Reality is blurring. The comic makes you question whether Carter is a real person, a dream figure, or something Lovecraft unconsciously created. That's when the stranger mentions Lovecraft's childhood astronomy magazines, the ones he printed at 12, and brings up Lovecraft's 1906 letter to Scientific American. Lovecraft smiles with childlike pride. Then the stranger says the thing that cracks issue number 1 wide open. "We've seen Pluto,
and it looks exactly as you described. Red-black landscapes, alien shapes, frozen mountains, exactly like the Whisperer in Darkness. Lovecraft insists it's impossible. There's nothing up there, but the implication is terrifying. His fiction may have become reality. The stranger quotes Lovecraft's own words. Life is just pictures in the brain. No reason to value the real over the dream. Lovecraft calls it nonsense, but the stranger pushes harder, accusing him of being like his own characters, too afraid to accept extraordinary truth. The stranger gestures to a strange red machine. Lovecraft refuses to look. A nurse enters. He needs rest. The moment breaks. Before leaving, the stranger says the line that defines issue number 1. If this is true, then literature triumphs over life. Even death may die. The last image of the issue is cosmic horror perfection. Snow-covered mountains beneath a red sky and black sun, with Lovecraft staring into the void. It's unclear whether he's dreaming or watching reality unravel. The final beat is a supernatural jolt. Someone wakes up clutching a Lovecraft collection. Their eyes glow red. They begin writing, possessed, inspired, or transformed. Issue number 1 closes on the idea that Lovecraft's death isn't an ending. It's the beginning of a new nightmare. Because imagination doesn't die. Dreams don't die. And in this comic, neither does Lovecraft.